Welcome, welcome, welcome to Storytime with me, Miss Sheila. I hope you're having a wonderful and beautiful day. Today's story is called, sorry if I get it wrong because it's a nickname, Kamik. Kamik joins the pack. So that's the puppy's name, Kamik. Kamik ran beside Jake as they made their way down the snowy road toward Jake's uncle's house. Jake was excited to show his uncle how much his puppy had learned and how obedient he was becoming. Jake's uncle was a great musher who had won many dog sled races. Try to look extra strong and obedient today, Jake said as he looked down at his puppy. Kamik just wagged his tail and walked on. Look at. Hello, Jake, Jake's uncle called as he looked up from his work. Kamik ran and sat next to him, waiting to be patted. Your puppy is getting bigger, he said as he gave Kamik a tap on the head. He is, Jake said, feeling a bit of pride. I'm already teaching him commands to turn. He is very smart. I can't wait to get more dogs so that Kamik can lead my very own dog team. Jake's uncle was just beginning to harness his team. The dogs all looked very excited and eager to run. Jake imagined Kamik as the lead dog of the team. He was sure Kamik would could lead the fastest dog team around. Wow. It is good that Kamik is smart, Jake's uncle said as he continued to harness his dogs. Smart, hard-working dogs are the best dogs. Being a good musher takes a lot of work. I know. I have to give the dogs lots of exercise, right? That is true. But before you take out a dog team, you must make sure they are healthy and in good condition, Jake's uncle replied. In the fall and winter, I have to cut my dog's nails so they will not break while they're running. I must also check to make sure no ice has formed in the hair on the bottoms of their paws. And they need to be fed every day, even in the middle of a blizzard when you may not feel like going outside to feed them. Dogs rely on us to keep them healthy so that they don't get hurt when they are running with the pack. Jake watched as his uncle checked all his dogs, lifting their paws and inspecting them. Jake had never checked Kamik's paws. He leaned down and lifted Kamik's front paw just as his uncle was doing. That's good. That's a great way to learn. There are lots of other skills that come in handy too, Jake's uncle continued. Dogs love to chew on harnesses and ropes, so it helps to know how to sew and braid in order to fix those. And you need to know how to bit dog hoses and fix your sled if it breaks. Wow, said Jake. I didn't know there would be so much to do. Jake looked down at the snow. He did not know how to do many of these things. Oh, so he's like, kind of like, ooh, I don't know. Jake's uncle put a hand on his shoulder. You don't need to learn everything all at once, he said with a smile. You can learn alongside your dogs. When I was your age, I had 5 dogs. They did not know how to pull a sled, but one day I harnessed them and tried to ride around town. The dogs would not pull the sled, so I had to get off and walk with them. Most of the way to home, I was sweating from pulling my dogs along, even though it was in the middle of winter. When I was halfway home, some mushers passed me with their dogs' teams. I felt so embarrassed, but I never gave up. From that day, I started to slowly learn what I needed to know to build a dog team. Good advice. Thinking about his uncle at his own age made Jake feel a little bit better. So what should I do first? My Ada told me to spend lots of time with Kamik to get to know him, and my uh, Agnisha taught me how to teach him commands while I play with him. Sorry, it's Grandma and Grandpa in Inuit that I did not say it properly. Your grandparents taught you well. God and their masters do need to spend, I mean, dogs and their masters do need to spend a lot of time together in order to understand each other. My dogs know when I'm happy and when I'm upset. To know for sure if Calumet can be a lead dog, he needs to run with other dogs. I let new dogs run at the back at the back of the team to see how they behave, just like people. Dogs behave in different ways. Some dogs work very hard when they pull. They look straight ahead as they run and never bother the other dogs. Some dogs are not as hard working. They look around or back at me while running and bother the other dogs. A lead dog needs to be very focused, Jake's uncle said as he harnessed another one of his dogs. There was one empty harness left at the back of the team. Jake looked at Kamik. He knew Kamik could be a hard-working dog, and he wanted so badly to see him run with his uncle's team. Think his uncle's going to let him run? Let's see. Maybe we should see how Kamik does with the team, Jake's uncle offered. Yes, Jake said, barely able to contain his excitement. Jake grabbed the harness and slid into Kamik's back. Jake's uncle showed him how to attach Kamik to the lead, and Kamik stood in line, like with the other dogs, eager and ready to run. Nice. We won't be able to go very far with Kamik. His first time pulling. Puppies can only run for a mile or two at first. Pulling is hard work, and we don't want to strain his muscles. Jake nodded before leaning down to check Kamik's harness one last time. Okay, boy, he whispered to his puppy. Time to show us you can lead. Kamik lifted his head and licked at Jake's face. He got his wish. Jake climbed onto the sled with his uncle. He could hardly believe Kamik was about to run with a dog team for the first time. Are you ready? Jake's uncle asked him. Jake smiled and nodded as the sound of the whip started the dogs running. As the dogs took off, Kamik ran hard and fast with the rest of the pack and never looking back. Woohoo! Isn't that cool? And that's a picture of him. Wow. Thank goodness he had an uncle to try and practice his dog and learn more about. I hope you enjoyed this story tonight and that you will remember we always have to learn and practice before we can know exactly what to do. Okay, until next time with me, Miss Sheila, I hope you have a wonderful and beautiful night, and I hope you keep shining your light bright. Bye for now.